Suaus and on. The hour is late. The winds are shifting. The veil is thinning. And you, yes, you, the one marked, the one set apart, you stand at the edge of a mystery. Tonight is not just a night. Tonight is a revelation, a journey, a mirror, and it will unfold like a movie, but without a body. What does that mean? A movie is a projection, a casting of light and shadow upon a screen. It is a story lived out by others, but seen by you. But this night, it is your story, except you will not walk it in the flesh. Not tonight. Why? Because the body can lie. The body hungers for what decays, but the spirit sees what the eyes cannot. The soul hears what the ears refuse. And tonight, you are being lifted out of the shell into the realm where truth is naked and glory is unveiled. The distractions of the flesh fall away. You will not touch. You will not taste. You will see. You will see the chains you never noticed, the doors that were never locked. You will see the war in the heavens and the fingerprints of God on the very moments you once called coincidence. Chosen one, you have walked in the world of surfaces, but tonight you will soar into the depths. Like the prophet on the watchtower, you will be shown what is, what was, and what is to come. But beware, this is not entertainment. This is not spectacle. This is encounter, a reckoning, a commissioning. For the one who sees the invisible cannot return unchanged. The movie that will play tonight has no actors, only angels and shadows, only scrolls and seals, only the sound of the shofar in the distance and the whisper of the voice that called the universe into being. So prepare yourself. Lay down the body, lay down the noise, lay down the illusion of control, and watch. For the author of the story is calling you into the script, and what was once watched will now be lived. Chosen one, tonight is going to be like a movie for you, without a body, not fiction, not fantasy, but revelation. And when the credits roll, you will not be the same. The message begins with a powerful, almost jarring call to transcend the physical, the body, the senses, the flesh. At its core, this speech is calling the listener to something ancient yet immediate, something spiritual rather than sensual. Tonight is going to be like a movie for you, without a body, is not merely poetic language. It is an invitation to experience a vision that cannot be perceived with the five senses. It is a beckoning to awaken, not the body, but the spirit. And in that awakening, something deeper is unlocked. In a world dominated by physical desires, by what we can see, taste, touch, or own, we often forget the vastness of the unseen realm. The body, our vessel, is constantly occupied with its needs: food, pleasure, comfort, distraction. Yet beyond all of that lies the soul, the eternal part of us that longs for truth, meaning, and communion with something higher. The body is temporary, but the spirit is eternal, and it is in that eternal space where the true revelation occurs. This speech presses upon the listener the urgency to disengage from what is fleeting and tune into what is everlasting. To watch a movie without a body is to observe life, destiny, and divine intention not through the lens of human bias, but through the clarity of spirit. In the body, we see in part, we hear in distortion, and we move in hesitation. But once separated from the distractions of the flesh, the soul is given a pure lens, unfiltered, unshaken, and unveiled. And it is through this lens that the movie begins, not on a screen, but within the sacred space between heaven and earth. It is as if the veil is torn back, and what is usually hidden is laid bare. This concept mirrors the prophetic experiences in Scripture, when Ezekiel was lifted up by the Spirit and shown the valley of dry bones, or when John was in the Spirit on the island of Patmos and was given the revelation. In each case, the physical was suspended, and the spiritual realm broke in. The individual was caught up, not in fantasy, but in divine reality. This is the nature of the encounter the speaker describes. It is not a vision conjured by imagination, but one orchestrated by the eternal. And to step into it requires a laying down of self, a surrender of all that is known, all that is tangible. The spiritual awakening described in the speech is not merely an emotional experience. It is an unveiling of truth. The listener, called the chosen one, is set apart not to feel, but to see. To see what has always been there but hidden. To see the battle between light and darkness. The fingerprints of God on every page of history, and the direction of one's own soul. This awakening exposes illusions, destroys false security, and ignites a hunger for righteousness. The language, rich with mystery, is not meant to confuse, but to break the mind out of routine. The chosen one must let go of control, of comfort, and of certainty. For it is only in the absence of the body's noise that the spirit can hear the whisper of God. This is not about death, but about deeper life, a life that transcends the flesh and aligns with divine purpose. It is an invitation to rise, to watch, and ultimately to walk in the Spirit, not bound by what is seen, but empowered by what is true. This awakening is not optional. Once the Spirit sees, it cannot unsee. Once the soul tastes truth, it cannot return to the numbness of the flesh. Tonight is not just another moment, it is a threshold. And once crossed, the journey has truly begun. The idea that tonight is going to be like a movie for you without a body is not merely about seeing images or visions. It's a deeper metaphor about being drawn into a divine encounter. But this encounter is not entertainment. It is not spectacle for the sake of excitement. It is not meant to amuse, to distract, or to stir emotion for emotion's sake. It is a prophetic revelation, the kind that shakes the soul, exposes hidden truths, and calls the hearer into accountability. The difference between entertainment and encounter is the difference between illusion and truth. And tonight, the call is to truth. In modern life, everything is crafted to entertain. Screens fill our days and nights. Stories are told to stir our hearts, to grip our imaginations. We watch films, listen to music, scroll through social feeds, all to escape reality, to avoid the deeper questions, to mask our restlessness with noise. But what happens when the screen goes black, when the stage is empty, and all that remains is silence? In that silence, the true voice speaks, and it does not entertain. It convicts, it awakens, it transforms. The movie, spoken of in this prophetic message, is not something scripted by Hollywood. It is not a fantasy born of fiction. It is a revelation orchestrated by the one who knows the end from the beginning. It is the uncovering of a narrative that was always there beneath the surface of daily life. A movie, in the worldly sense, is a story acted out by others. But this night, the movie is divine reality being shown to you, not with physical eyes, but with the eyes of the Spirit. And it is not about watching others. It is about recognizing your own place within the divine story. This prophetic movie has no actors, no sets, no special effects. Instead, it is the unveiling of spiritual truths that have been hidden in plain sight. You will see things you have passed by every day without noticing. Moments, symbols, decisions, divine appointments. You will begin to recognize that there were no coincidences, that every thread was woven, that every breath had purpose. And this realization doesn't come through the body. It comes when the body is laid aside, when the heart is still and the spirit is open. This moment is sacred. To treat it as entertainment is to miss the point entirely. Entertainment makes no demands. It asks only for your attention and gives you nothing in return but distraction. But a prophetic encounter asks for your soul. It requires stillness, honesty, and the courage to face what will be revealed. For the movie, You are about to witness this unveiling of truth will not comfort the flesh. It will unsettle it. It will challenge your assumptions. It will confront your hidden compromises. But it will also speak life, direction, and destiny to your spirit. There is a danger in mistaking revelation for drama. That's why the message warns this is not performance. This is purpose. The atmosphere of tonight is not a theater, it is a sanctuary. The stage is not a platform, it is your life. And the script is not man-made. It was written in eternity. To see what is about to be revealed is a privilege, but also a responsibility. For the one who sees is no longer blind. The one who hears is no longer ignorant. You will be shown what others miss. And once you are shown, you must respond. So be ready, be still. Strip away the filters of flesh and step into the invisible. For what you are about to witness is not a distraction. It is a declaration. A divine interruption in your timeline. A message etched in the eternal. And it is not meant to entertain your eyes, but to awaken your soul. The term, chosen one, is not a title given lightly. It carries with it the weight of divine purpose, the echo of eternity, and the mark of one who has been set apart for something beyond the ordinary. In the context of this prophetic message, being called the chosen one is not about ego or status. It is about responsibility. It is about a soul singled out not for comfort, but for calling. When heaven speaks and says, "You are chosen," it is not a compliment, it is a summons. To be chosen is to be interrupted. Life as it was no longer remains the same. What once felt random now reveals divine design. The moments you thought were coincidences now appear as coordinated steps. The people you met, the detours you took, the pain you carried, all of it is drawn into a greater pattern, a mystery unfolding in God's timing. The chosen begin to see life through different eyes. What others overlook, they are called to discern. What others ignore, they are called to confront. The chosen are never called to blend in. They are not called to chase the trends of this world or to seek the applause of man. They are often hidden, forged in silence, refined through struggle, and yet even in their quietness, heaven watches them. The title, Chosen One, is not earned, it is appointed. It is not claimed, it is revealed. And when it is spoken over you, it awakens something within your spirit, a knowing that you were born for a moment such as this. But with being chosen comes cost. To be chosen means to be set apart from the crowd, to walk a path that is narrow and often lonely. It means carrying a message that others might not understand and standing firm when others fall away. You become a vessel through which something sacred is revealed. You are no longer your own. The dreams you had for yourself are now laid at the feet of the one who called you, exchanged for a purpose that is greater than comfort and deeper than personal ambition. The prophetic message speaks to this truth. You are not being shown this movie of revelation merely to be fascinated. You are being shown because you are entrusted. Chosen vessels are given vision not for curiosity, but for commission. What is revealed to you must not die in you. It must be carried, spoken, lived like the prophets of old. Jeremiah, Isaiah, Ezekiel. You are given sight so that you may become a voice. You are entrusted with vision so that you may become action. And yet, the mercy of God is that He doesn't just call you, He prepares you. He doesn't just assign the path, He walks it with you. Every moment that has brought you to this night has been preparation. Every trial has forged you. Every unanswered question has positioned you to finally receive the answer that only comes from divine revelation. The chosen one does not arrive by accident, they arrive through refining. This moment, then, is not the climax. It is the beginning. The choosing has been made. The unveiling is near. What comes next is the obedience to walk in what is revealed. And though the flesh may feel unworthy, though the mind may feel unprepared, the Spirit knows. The Spirit remembers the voice that called before time began. And tonight, that voice is speaking again, saying, "Chosen one, now see, now rise, now walk." You were not called to observe history. You were chosen to help fulfill it. The mantle is not light, but the glory outweighs the cost. And once you have seen the truth, you cannot go back. You were called. You were marked. And now you must move. The revelation that is about to unfold is not of this world. It comes from beyond the veil, from the realm where angels walk and eternity speaks. To see it, one must not look with natural eyes, but with the eyes of the Spirit. The body cannot perceive it, the mind cannot fully comprehend it, and the heart alone cannot contain it. It is a vision of the outer's hidden realm, a glimpse into what is always present but rarely seen. Tonight is not about fantasy or imagination. It is about the unveiling of what is real beyond all appearance. There is a world behind this world. There is a truth behind every illusion. There is a war being waged in the heavens, even as people on earth go about their lives unaware. The speech speaks to this, that while humanity chases after shadows, there are divine patterns at work. Timelines, assignments, visitations, battles. Most never see them because they are bound by the visible, tethered to the physical, and deaf to the whisper of the Spirit. But the chosen one is not like most. The chosen one is called to FC, and what is seen when the veil lifts. You begin to see that your battles were never just emotional or circumstantial. You see that the depression, the delay, the struggle were not merely personal. They were part of a larger conflict, a spiritual opposition, a resistance not to you, but to what you carry. The enemy does not waste resources on the lukewarm or the wandering. But the moment a soul is chosen, targeted, marked by God for a purpose, all of hell pays attention. The hidden realm becomes real in that moment because you are now a player in it. You see the fingerprints of God on your life. You realize that moments you thought were meaningless were actually messages. That detours were divine redirections. That the person who broke you was actually the person God used to prepare you. The delays that made you doubt were the exact timing needed for destiny. You see that nothing was wasted. Everything was written. Everything was seen. And though the body only knew confusion and pain, the Spirit begins to see divine strategy, hidden grace, an unseen angel standing guard in places you thought were empty. You see the spiritual architecture of your life, the doors God opened and the ones He shut, the opportunities that fell through because they weren't aligned with your calling. You see people who came for a season and left, not as rejection, but as protection. The invisible hand of God moves with purpose. And once your eyes are opened, you can never live the same. You are no longer reacting to the surface. You are responding to the Spirit. But this kind of vision does not come to those who remain in the noise. It comes to those who separate, who silence the flesh, who step out of the distractions and into the holy. The Spirit must rise while the body rests. That is the meaning of the message. To see the movie without the body is to have your spirit lifted above the ordinary into the place of revelation. This kind of sight is not passive. It is not for curiosity. It demands something from you. For once you see the spiritual world, you are now accountable to it. You can no longer say you didn't know. You have seen the strategy of heaven and the schemes of hell. You have seen the narrow path between deception and truth, and you must walk it with wisdom. The hidden realm is not hidden to God, and now it is not hidden to you. You are being brought into the war room of heaven. The screen is being pulled back, and the movie is not fiction. It is prophecy. You are not just watching. You are being invited to engage, to discern, to stand. And when you see what is unseen, you are no longer just a believer. You become a witness. Revelation does not leave a soul untouched. It is not simply information. It is transformation. When the Spirit of God opens the eyes of the chosen one to see the truth behind the veil, something within begins to shift. The world looks the same on the outside, but nothing is the same on the inside. Once the movie of Revelation begins to play, once the divine script is unfolded before the Spirit, the person watching it cannot remain who they were. Revelation is not passive. It is disruptive, holy, and life-altering. When the veil lifts, you begin to see things as they are, not as you assumed them to be. What was once confusion becomes clarity. What you once feared, you now understand. The pain that once haunted you is now seen in the light of divine purpose. You begin to realize that your story was never just about you, that you were never merely surviving. You were being prepared. The revelation does not just inform your mind, it awakens your identity. You realize you are part of something greater, a narrative authored in eternity. You see your own life as a thread woven into a vast and sacred tapestry. This changes everything. You cannot go back to ordinary thinking. You cannot live for shallow things. You cannot pursue what no longer fits your calling. The entertainment of the world begins to lose its grip. The opinions of others fade into the background. When your soul is exposed to eternal truth, temporal distractions lose their power. You become aware of your purpose, your assignment, and the cost of ignoring it. You begin to hunger for the voice of God more than for comfort, more than for praise, more than for security. But this transformation comes with weight. Revelation brings responsibility. You have seen what others have not. You have heard what many never will. And now you must choose how to live with it. You can no longer claim ignorance. You cannot pretend not to know. The same Spirit who revealed the hidden things now calls you to walk in them, to live differently, to speak boldly, to stand firmly. Transformation by revelation demands obedience. It demands alignment. It demands surrender. There is also a holy discomfort that comes with transformation. You become restless with things that once satisfied you. You feel disconnected from people who once seemed familiar. You start to feel the tension between the world you live in and the truth you now carry. This is not rejection. It is reformation. God is reshaping your heart, reordering your priorities, refining your desires. He is pulling you deeper into alignment with heaven so that you can walk as one who has seen. And even more, revelation births a new kind of discernment. You start to recognize spiritual patterns, spiritual dangers, spiritual opportunities. You see through deception more easily. You feel the weight of decisions more clearly. You begin to respond not with impulse, but with insight. This is the fruit of transformation, the inner shift that marks the chosen as different from the rest. They are not merely touched by God, they are changed by Him. To be transformed through revelation is to live with your eyes wide open. It is to carry divine fire in your bones. It is to wake up each day knowing that you are not walking randomly. You are walking purposefully. You are no longer wandering. You are no longer guessing. You are following the voice that called you out. The movie you saw without a body was not for entertainment. It was a mirror, a map, and a mandate. And now, with spirit awakened and heart burning, you rise from that revelation changed. Not just informed, but commissioned. Not just stirred, but set apart. You can never be the same. There is a sacred tension woven into every true revelation. A mixture of awe and warning, of wonder and weight. The message does not come to soothe, but to awaken. It is beautiful in its mystery, yet heavy in its implications. The line, "Tonight is going to be like a movie for you without a body," is not a poetic flourish meant to inspire comfort. It is a prophetic announcement, and within it lies both promise and caution. What is being revealed is holy, and with holiness comes responsibility. What is about to be shown will stir your spirit, but it will also demand your response. This is how God often works. He draws the chosen close, not just to reveal secrets, but to test the heart. The heavens may open and the spirit may see, but such vision is not casual. To see what others cannot is a gift, but it is also a call to action. Revelation is never neutral. It requires something. Once light has broken in, you cannot retreat into darkness without consequence. Once you have heard the whisper from behind the veil, you are held accountable for what you know. That is why this night is not just a mystical experience. It is a crossroads. The warning wrapped in this wonder is clear. Do not mistake this for entertainment. The world has conditioned you to watch without changing, to observe without acting. You are surrounded by images every day, movies, shows, distractions that ask nothing of your soul. But this is not like that. This is not a performance you can applaud and walk away from unchanged. What will be shown to you will pierce the inner places. It will reveal what must be surrendered. It will expose what must be confronted. You will see the war being fought in your own life, between truth and deception, between calling and compromise. You will see the times you walked away from destiny and the moment's grace pulled you back. You will see the chains that still bind you, not the visible ones, but the silent agreements you made in secret. And then you will be given a choice. The wonder is that God would trust you with this vision. The warning is that to ignore it is to risk drifting from the very purpose for which you were born. There is also a warning about timing. When God speaks, when heaven reveals, there is a window, a moment, a divine interruption. It is not meant to be delayed. Revelation does not wait for convenience. It comes when the Spirit calls, and the response must be immediate. The voice that says, "Chosen one, see," is not just showing you something to admire. It is giving you a chance to step into what you were created for. Delay can become disobedience. Disobedience can lead to dullness. And when the soul grows dull, the voice fades. But even in the warning, there is wonder. For what kind of God reveals himself to mortal man? What kind of king pulls back the curtain and invites you into his counsel? What kind of creator would show you the plot behind your pain, the purpose behind your delay, the beauty behind your breaking? This is why the moment is sacred. It is wrapped in glory, but also in gravity. This night, then, is not light. It is not entertainment. It is holy ground. The movie you will witness is a divine briefing, a spiritual mirror, a revelation of eternity breaking into time. The wonder is that you are invited to see it. The warning is that you cannot walk away unchanged. Once the Spirit opens your eyes, your journey must shift. Your decisions must change. Your heart must align. You are standing in a moment of divine invitation, wrapped in mystery, marked by mercy, and sealed with urgency. What you do next will echo far beyond tonight.